Found fiancés on Tinder a week before we were supposed to get married. My 28F, fiancé, 37M, are supposed to be getting married in a week. We've been together for 4 years, own a house and 2 dogs together. We were long distance for 2 of those years but moved in together 2 years ago. Tonight I woke up in our bed in the middle of the night to see his phone was on and in his hand. He was asleep, the screen was on, and the phone was sort of falling out of his hand. I went to take it out of his hand and put it on the charger when I saw the screen had Tinder open. There were probably 5 different conversations there, all of which had messages from this month. I immediately shook him awake and demanded an explanation. He at first acted like he had no idea what I was talking about and quickly deleted the app on his phone. But I kept demanding he explain himself because I'm not about to be gaslit and manipulated into being told I didn't see anything. He used the excuse of feeling lonely and just wanted conversations. He said I'm on my phone too much, even tried to say something to effect of not knowing why my phone sometimes goes off in the middle of the night. Usually Reddit or YouTube notifications, and that sometimes I brush off something he says. I asked him why he wouldn't say something about it, and neither of those are good reasons to download Tinder. To his credit, the conversations didn't look like they were all that long, no hookups, no sexting, definitely flirting. He's never acted sketchy to make me think otherwise. His work schedule has been pretty consistent, nothing sus. I'm incredibly hurt by seeing the messages, which is only adding fuel to the anxiety I already deal with. I don't know how to trust him now, especially since he had given me reason to not trust him. My guess is this had become more common as path the last few years, but I've never had to navigate this sort of betrayal. I'm sure plenty of you Reddit people have dealt with similar things. He did apologize and swears it will never happen again, but my trust in him is gone. Can we move past this without resentment, and how? TLDR. Caught fiancé on Tinder, he gave bad excuses for why we're supposed to get married in a week. Edit. Thank you all for the advice and suggestions. I have a lot to think about. Update next morning. After a couple of hours of back and forth in the middle of the night, I made him sleep downstairs. This morning we had a better conversation. I think the initial confrontation, while still not good on his end, was partly due to his being drunk and in a fog. I saw him drink several beers the night before. I made him read the responses from the post and asked him why I shouldn't just call it all off right then and there. He cried and begged for forgiveness, that he knows it was wrong. The most recent conversation on the app was about a week old, which I did see. I told him he had betrayed me and the trust is very shaken, and he added to my anxiety. This is the first time this has ever happened. This isn't a pattern of behavior. I am not going to broadcast what he did to my family. Pretty sure my brother would attempt to beat the crap out of him. I did tell him he needs to tell his mother what he did. He did seem truly regretful and literally got on his knees to beg. Still not sure what I want to do at this point, especially since this was the first time.
Update. Slight chance my 39M pregnant wife, 38F, had an affair. Should I ask for a paternity test or wait? So she was out of state on a business trip until late last night. It's Friday, so she worked from home in our kitchen. So I asked to talk and brought it up and asked for a test. She immediately said yes, and said there's zero doubt, nothing that she'd even have a second to worry about. But she has no problem doing it now. The only caveat I left it with is, if it's invasive at all per our doctors, then I'm not waiting until it's low risk. I'm not a doctor, no clue what they have to do it now, so I'm not sure when we are. But she's aware and we are getting one. It was a decent and longer conversation. We are currently sitting together getting lunch. She's got no clue I did this on Reddit, hence the new account because she is on here somewhere. Thank you everyone for your help and opinions. A bunch of you made me realize that we are already really open about everything, and if nothing happened, then she wouldn't worry about getting one. I was more worried about her health and adding some insane level of stress if it was an issue, as she's an at-risk pregnancy and it took so long for us to get pregnant. So again, thank you all for the help. I suppose I can update if it's mine or not, but I'm not sure how long that will be. I'm 90 to 95% sure it is mine, but this will help us continue this conversation. Thank you. Update. Just because it seemed to be more of a topic on this post based the other one for some reason. Yes, I have the footage. No, I haven't talked to Matt yet. He's told her he wants to talk about it, but I told him to wait on that. My relationship with my wife and the paternity is what's important right now. I will eventually talk with Matt. No, I'm not going to get Matt's wife involved intentionally. I don't know why I would other just be vindictive. I'm not going to cover for him obviously, but his relationship is his, and mine is mine. I'm not interested in making this worse. Whatever is going on between him and his wife isn't any of my business.
My F25 husband, M30, says our house will never be mine. How do I move past this? Me and my husband have been married for almost 1 year and have been together for 7. I work a job in media while he works as a therapist of sorts. We have been living in my inherited home that has been in my family for many years. Over the past few years, we have both agreed the house and the location is just not ideal. With the housing market being what it is, we have sucked it up and continued to live here. Recently, we were offered to purchase my husband's family home. It's a good house that needs a lot of work, but I am confident we can do what we need to for under $15,000 in renovations, so we are planning to move there and begin renovating. We were both happy and excited until the other day when we were talking about it. Out of nowhere, he told me, "I want you to know this house will never be yours. If we divorce or anything, you will have no right to live there anymore." And I found this hurtful and odd. This was never a discussion in the years we have lived in our current home. I would never plan on taking his family home if we were to separate, but it felt like a stab to the heart, especially when we are trying to have kids. I told him it would be a marital asset since I'm paying half the mortgage and half the renovations. I would never fight you for the house, but I don't plan on getting divorced. This made him very upset. He said he would rather not move in if there's a chance a judge would determine I had any rights over the home. Was I wrong? How do I move past this with him? I just found out I 34F would have no claim on my fiance's 35M and mine's marital home. I feel deceived, don't know how to proceed. I've been engaged to my fiancé, Matt, for 6 months now. I'm also 7 months pregnant and have a 4-year-old child from a previous marriage. We had plans to marry 5 months ago, but his grandpa passed away, and in order to observe the mourning period, we postponed our wedding. Now, I am making this post precisely because I read another story here about how a husband tried to financially screw his wife over by getting his dad's name on property and then transferring it to him so that the property isn't connected at all to the marriage and by extension the wife. I'm also a stay-at-home parent to my 4-year-old, been nesting for our baby on the way. My fiancé has been in the family business with his dad for many years now and rent right now. I already knew of my fiancé's plans for our first home together, which is currently in the process. He has put down deposits for our home in his dad's name, which will be transferred to him shortly. He said that this was for tax purposes, and I never bothered doing any research on this, but now I can see this is to ensure that he doesn't lose the house in case we separate. We have a prenup, and I talked to him about this, and I agree that this is his asset from money saved over the years, and now I can't help but wonder if I should have known better. I don't have a good feeling about this, especially since we have been having talks about reviewing our prenup. He says he is doing this to ensure the prenup doesn't get overturned and that he needs this to feel secure in our relationship. Before meeting him, I was living by child support, still am, and private tutoring kids, but after getting pregnant, I wanted to focus on family and stop working. I mean, I can pick up tutoring anytime, I am licensed, but the fact that I cannot have any claim on our marital home seems wrong. How should I proceed? TLDR, I'm engaged to Matt, pregnant, and have a 4-year-old from a previous marriage. We delayed our wedding due to his grandpa's passing. Recently, I read about a husband financially protecting himself by transferring property to his dad, similar to what Matt is doing with our home. He claims it's for tax reasons and security. We have a prenup, but I'm uneasy about not having a claim on our home. I quit work to focus on family. Unsure how to move forward, edit. He's majorly financing the house through his savings plus sale of 1% shares. It also includes some of my own savings accumulated over the years till 10% of the whole initial deposit value. Edit 2. I know my contribution is small, but I still came forward and offered to finance some part of our home, and he took it, and now I feel foolish. I don't know, I just feel upset that my fiancé knew this will screw me over. His lawyer probably told him to do that without consulting me so that I don't stop him, and now it's too late. Plus, as a homemaker, I do most of the housework, and in the event we separate, I'd like to be compensated for that. I just can't believe did that. I'm floored right now. I just feel like I knew just enough so that I don't accuse him of non-disclosure and open claim that I didn't do my research with my own lawyer. I've been extremely busy with pregnancy and managing my 4-year-old's EHT, so I wouldn't have time to do my due diligence. I trusted he's safe. I feel like he took advantage of how bad it's been for me.